Welcome to the ProBrick exclusive YouTube channel with Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist. I think we live in a world now where narcissists are really just being used as a punching bag. The statement narcissism. Most people you speak to now will go, oh, that person was a narcissist because blah, 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 blah. In some ways, it's used as an excuse to work out some way of explaining why a relationship went wrong. And more often than not, this excuse can be an avoidance of resolve. When you come out of a relationship with a narcissist, they're going to villainize you if they weren't already beforehand. And that's just natural. Don't worry about that crap. If you've been doing the best that you can in the relationship, you've been honest, transparent, you've showed up when you said you're going to show up, you've been there when you said you're going to be there, you've never let that person down, you've been fun in the bedroom, you've been fun at cooking, you've shared in all the bits and pieces that you need to do, and that person is just not playing their part from the other end. Yeah, sure, they're doing their part where it comes to, calling in on you and all the rest of it, but they're not sending texts, they're not staying in communication, they're just showing up when it suits them. There's really no depth in the relationship. You're wondering what's going on. They've got no answers themselves. You've got to look at it and say, what is this actually all about? Am I an object for pleasure? Am I really someone that these people care about? No, you're not. You know whether you're truly cared about or not, men and women, those of you that are watching this. Look at it from a Christian perspective, because that's the only thing that can really help you once evil has had its way with you, once the dark triads walked all over you. That's why I became a Christian nearly 25 years ago. I wanted, or maybe longer ago than that, I can't. It's a long time ago. A long time ago. I wanted to protect myself from evil, from immaturity, from lazy people, from people that couldn't find their way through life. There's the majority. You're looking at 80% now, people that really can't find their way through life in a healthy way. That's a lot. You say, how do you know it's 80%? Well, 80% of people get divorced now, don't they? That means there's something wrong somewhere. There's some fabric wrong in society that's causing these statistics to be the way they are. And it's higher than that on second marriages and third marriages. A lot of people think they're in a relationship and they're not. They're just a means of supply for a person that's looking for affection or some kind of physical touch or something like that. The art, and some people will never know what a relationship is. They've had a life of drugs, they've had a life of a partnership with somebody that was dysfunctional, and that's what's kept them in the relationship, sharing the joys of their dysfunction and sharing the joys of their habits. You can have your habit and I'll have mine. Before they know it, 20, 25 years have gone by and that part of their life's gone, and they really don't know what a proper relationship is. They've got all sorts of attachment style problems now. They don't know how to read a person that's normal, that's tried and worked on themselves all their life while they've been on drugs. This is real shit. This is real life. And you can't change these people or help them improve because their perception of themselves is okay. They're not aware usually of where you're at. And in many cases, you're not going to be aware of where they're at because they don't want you to know. That's why part of their life's missing from you. Completely swiped out. I had a relationship with a girl. We used to go between each other's places, and then one of the some family member couldn't handle the mother sharing herself with a man. We'd have walks together. We'd sit by the water together. We'd spend time together at her place, time together at my place. We'd listen to radio records. We'd cook together. We'd share together. We'd have fires together. Oh, we used to do stacks of stuff together, and one person in the family destroyed all that. You know what the problem was? She allowed it. You know why she allowed it? Because she was the one that instilled these thoughts and principles about men in the minds of these people. And so you've got to watch what you're getting yourself into. You can be applying yourself, you can be, as I said before, showing up. And this isn't things that you need to be resentful about. You need to learn from this. You need to be careful not to over-attach. Because by the time you've given this person long enough to work out whether they're going to be real or not, you'll see where they're at. If they're manifesting more of their drug habits, or they're returning to their drug habits, they're starting to increase in their, say, nicotine habit or whatever, and you've asked them not to present themselves that way, you know where their values are. They're chronic addicts. That's their way of life. You've got no right to interfere in that. You let them go. You've shown them some light. You've shown them, hopefully you have, hopefully you're not an addict yourself. You've given them an opportunity to see the other side of life. You've shown them a healthy way, strong way of life, a strong mind and stuff. But you can't compete with the dark triad traits of people that want to fear in your relationship. If you've been seeing that person and you've been kind to that person and loving and not boring, and somebody's interfered with that and now it's all spoiled, that's not your fault. And don't allow these people to put it on you. It's not your fault. You've been ripped off, you've been deceived, you've been taken for a ride. You're just a means of supply. If the issues aren't resolved where people's causing trouble, and they can be, then you're being used. Let's just say it for what it is. You're being used, you're a convenience, and while that person can wing it and work all that out with you, they will. Once you start to try and get resolved, you're going to find out that they're probably blaming you for a problem that you didn't cause. They're living in a delusion. They've taught delusion to these people. They've agreed with delusion. They're talking about you behind your back. They've got feelings of resentment about you behind your back. They're emotionally absconded from you, as it were, if that's the right word. And they're running away from you, but they're physically turning up. They're trying to stay with you, but they're sabotaging the relationship because they know that the people in their group aren't coping with your clarity, with your transparency, with your commitment, with your will to want things to work out in a normal way. These people don't know what normal in the sense of being straight and aware and transparent and willing to conquer in life means. That's a threat to these people. It's just something they don't understand, they haven't seen before, they can't comprehend, because they've been surrounded by substances all their life. If it's not alcohol, it's fucking marijuana, if not both, medication, the whole lot. And they sympathize with each other. Their life cycles around the substance. Is this being critical? No, it's just the way it is. There's millions of people that live this way. They want the light, they come into the light, but the darkness cannot comprehend it. Do you understand that? That's why these people are freaking out. That's why they're going around in circles. That's why they don't want you there. That's not your fault. That's not your problem. But you've got to recognize that you're in with the wrong people. Your goodness is not being understood the right way. Your power is being wasted. It's being washed out, wished out by darkness. They're putting the fire out on you. They're taking, Samson in the Bible was deceived into having his hair cut off by Delilah, right? She wasn't happy until she cut off his hair. She had 3 or 4 goes at it, and in the end, he let out his secret, right? Reverse it. You can expose these Delilahs. Give them what they want. Tell them what they want. Let their little minions and gremlins in the background that are trying to wreck everything have their way, and then wait till the right moment. It will come where things collide, and then put some pressure on and see what really is going on underneath. And it'll come out. You'll be the one to blame. You weren't being told the truth. That's why nothing was getting resolved. And these people can't see that you have the powers of discernment, the ability to expose, because that's what light does. And then you can set yourself free. You say to that person, goodbye, thank you for finally telling me the truth. Thank you for finally showing me what was really wrong. But you've got to be willing to confront, and you've got to be willing to detach. You've got to be willing, as it were, to riptide your way out of that relationship when you know something's not right. Somebody's not standing for you, and they're standing for little weak gremlins and minions that are trying to wreck everything in the background because of their dark triad traits. You have to immediately go into red flag zone. Keep servicing that person. Keep playing your part in the relationship. That's what manhood's all about. But don't fall into the trap of them trying to destroy you when they're telling you they love you. Resolve is always unresolved. Unresolved is always the beginning of the end. I want you to remember that. If somebody's not resolving something, and don't let that be you, that's going to be the beginning of the end, because the cause of that unresolved will win in the end. Unresolved has a way of wrecking everything. And when you expose while the unresolved's there, right, be it third party person or whatever, right, and they've sided with that person despite the facts, you need to let that person go. Let them go. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing with you. They're addicted to your adrenaline, to the way you make them feel. And if you're a good man, a strong man, you will perform in a way in which you're meeting these people's needs beyond your competition. That's your responsibility. But if that person's letting you down emotionally, if they're not really showing up for you and standing for you respectfully, give it time. Be aware. Step back. Detach. Wait for them to expose themselves, because they will. They will. That's what the light does. Always exposes the darkness. And then when you've realized that this person's been dishonest to you, because they haven't told you the truth about how they really see things, which you already know because they haven't stood up for what the relationship stands for, and that's honesty and power. They've just let this thing erode at it. When it gets exposed, say goodbye. And if you're angry about it, tell them to F off. Don't, these people have to learn, and they probably won't, that you can't muck people around and be telling them one thing and thinking another. That makes them look so dishonest and so corrupted. Call it out for what it is. Abuse. You've been abused. You've been psychologically assaulted. Is that such a big deal? No, not if you're detached. You move on. You stay in the light. You stay thick and strong. You stay aware. Let them go on their villainizing campaigns to try and justify themselves, and they'll go around and try and maliciously undermine you to justify themselves for why there's no relationship and all this. They never liked you in the first place. They're minions and gremlins, and that's who they've ended up with. So underneath, that's what they are themselves. I don't give a fuck what people say. The side you end up with is what you are. You've got to cut these people off. You've got to be strong. Yeah, you had your experience. Don't worry, they had theirs too. They're not going to want you to succeed because they don't know how to succeed. They've wasted every opportunity they've ever had. They've got nothing to show for anything. This goes for millions and millions of people that are just sitting out there blaming life for their error, for their selfishnesses and their habits and their unwillingness to really look at life in a different way. I've seen these people that have got alongside me, and you actually see them improving. And you can explain to them what's going to happen to family members, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. They understand, they're not stupid, but they've made a choice of where they want to be. You can't be on both sides of the fence. It's not going to work. It's like somebody that doesn't like alcohol and you're just deliberately drinking alcohol and turning up pissed, and they don't, you can't expect that person to hang around. It's going to bring trouble. Let these people go. Clear your mind. Let yourself heal. Don't get involved with anybody else and all that rubbish. And don't care what they do. They're dysfunctional anyway. They had every opportunity for stability and they didn't want it. Oh, they'll regret it. Don't worry about that. If you're a strong, sober, successful person that's really trying to do the right thing, they're going to lose sleep at night. They're going to wonder, how did that happen to me? They know how it happened, but they lived in such a life of denial and unresolved, they can't find their way out of the dark. You showed them the light. You kept them in the light. I've seen these people completely transform and then allow others to stuff it all up for them and end up back in the dark, just like that. Boom.